All right, guys, the season is finally over. We lost to a 1-14 Cincinnati Bengals team who had previously already locked up the number one pick, and we got beat by them pretty pretty good. I would say we were losing just about, other than that first drive, we were losing it the entire time. Our offensive line is a complete and utter joke to have that many people. Greg Robinson is absolutely pathetic. Chris Webber is pathetic. To let their defensive, it's not like these guys, the Cincinnati Bengals, had the best defensive line in the NFL or even a top tier defensive line. This is one of the worst units in football. One win, and we made them look like a playoff team. That's how bad this offensive line was. Baker didn't quit. I know he threw some balls. He just threw them up for grabs. It didn't look like, it didn't look like Jarvis quit. Didn't look like Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt quit. But my lord, it was embarrassing to watch. Baker Mayfield didn't have any time to throw the ball.
Right. I agree.
That was our that was our
And
that
our
was our game
defense
today.
defense let us down too. They didn't play very well.
No.
They didn't look inspired. It was a miracle that Odell Beckham caught that pass on 4th and 20, and they still couldn't stop him.
And then he drops one that hits him right in the hands as he's slanting over the middle at the end of the
Yeah,
game, which
that
wouldn't have
too.
mattered anyway. But
And Baker making really poor decisions. He had guys wide open on the right, on the left, and he's forcing it down the middle. He's lucky he wasn't intercepted more. It was very fitting that the last throw he makes is an interception. I mean, I think he leads the league in interceptions. That's how bad his year has been.
yeah, it has been embarrassing. It's been an embarrassing season. We had basically the entire NFL rooting for us to fail because of all the hype that we had coming into the season. Now we got Odell Beckham and how we all these great things happening. And I really think that this season came down, everything was moving in the right direction until Myles Garrett decided to swing a helmet at Mason Rudolph. When that happened, the entire season just started going right down into the trash can. And that goes to show, you have to be able to keep your cool in heated situations. And that's one of those plays that, for Myles Garrett, as much as he's beloved by most of the fan base, the city of Cleveland, etc., he's going to have to earn that back from a lot of us because it was so bad and he hurt his team so bad by doing that he's going to have to earn that back, for me at least. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think the Freddie Kitchens watch is now started. The question is, how long? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? I think the fans deserve an answer. Um, you're hearing all kinds of rumors. I'm hearing rumors.
Yep.
You don't know what's true, what's not true, but what is true is that they played a lousy game at the end. They were uninspired. There was one play where the first drive in the second half, they're coming down the defense. They move Ertz over from the right side to the left side, and I paused the TV and I looked, and there's nobody guarding him. Nobody. Nobody had switched over. Nobody had even, everybody had somebody except him. And sure enough, he goes,
Tyler Eifert, you mean?
or yeah, whoever they're,
Yeah, the tight end.
he 85, number 85. He goes right down the middle, cuts to the inside, and he's wide open by 10 yards, and they throw him the ball. It I don't know who's coaching these guys, but if I can see that sitting there on TV, that there's nobody on this guy, and if anybody's going to guard him, they're going to have to
Yeah.
move 10 yards closer to get to him. And all they needed was, I don't know, 8 or 9 or 10 yards. I mean, it wasn't a really long third down play, but that would have stopped them. That would have forced them out of getting that field goal, which they eventually got.
Yep.
And they moved to two-score lead. So I mean, it was just a bad game, other than the first drive where they scored and they made it look easy.
Yeah.
The rest of it was not very good to watch.
Well, that's what it's been like the whole season too.
Yeah, sure.
You got off, the Tennessee Titans game. Start off the first season, go down, you score a touchdown, you make it look like you're going to be able to score 100 points, and it was just disaster. So this,
Are you sure we're streaming live, Mike? Because I can't get it on the
yeah,
post
we're
game.
live. We got 50 people watching. We're live.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know why it won't pick up the game, or what? The post game.
I
All right,
think
go ahead.
I think that Freddie Kitchens is done. You can't go 1-5 in your last 5 games when you need to win basically all of them to make the playoffs. And even up till 2 weeks ago, we were still technically in the running. Even 9-7, we were technically in the running to make it. And
Right.
you basically control your own destiny by being able to go 10-6, and you end up losing. You go 1-5. You can't. I think if anything, and this is what I said in the pregame show, I predicted we were going to lose today. We weren't going to come out. We had nothing to play for. The players aren't playing for Kitchens. They're not playing to save his job. So it is. It's pretty bad. Nick Chubb looked off today. The offensive line was bad, as the Jam said. And I said this: Freddie Kitchens is going to do everything he can to not have Nick Chubb. I don't know how many yards. Let me see how many yards did Nick Chubb end up with? 41 yards. So he's got like 100 and let's say 130 yards ahead of McCaffrey. So it's very doable for McCaffrey to be able to get that.
Right.
I don't know when they play, but Nick Chubb, he didn't have enough. He had 13 carries today. Baker Mayfield only threw 27 times, 3 TDs, 3 interceptions.
Yeah, ran the ball very
a bad
little.
day.
And when we did run, they couldn't move the ball. That was the part of the reason why they couldn't run more, is because they couldn't move the ball. I mean, they just weren't blocking. They weren't, they couldn't do anything right. And of course, defense gives up 33 points. Baker threw a couple of interceptions. It's just, typical. You called it. They were going to lose. They did lose. If nothing else, it helps our draft choice a little bit. And maybe it seals Freddie's fate. I'm sure his fate was sealed before this. I just hope, I don't want to sit around for the next 30 days and wait for stuff to go back and forth and back and forth. And I hope Dorsey's got a game plan.
God, I hope so. The rumors that are out, we got rumors that are flying like crazy. We've got Urban Meyer rumors. We've got people that are begging for Ron Rivera. We've got McCaffrey only got 21 yards today, so he didn't get it. I don't know if anybody else is in the running, so Nick Chubb might have got the rushing record, which would be honestly a fitting end for the one guy who doesn't really the least look at me guy we have on the team, Nick Chubb. The guy who just silently goes out there and does his job and does it very well, ends up leading the NFL in rushing. Meanwhile, the OBJ, Jarvis, I get Jarvis. Jarvis is a heck of a player. I think Jarvis he's the heart and soul. And then you got OBJ doing this every 5 seconds. I mean, it's great you caught a touchdown. It's great you did stuff. But, look at all the passes that you just went right through your hands, or that you were ineffective on those plays. You didn't do anything, right? But then Nick Chubb goes out there and just silently leads the NFL in rushing. The last time we had a guy leading the NFL in rushing was Leroy Kelly in the 70s? But that just goes to show the foundation, I still firmly believe, is there. Between Baker, Jarvis, Chubb, we got to figure out how to hold on to Kareem Hunt. I don't know the situation with him being a restricted free agent, what that means. But I think we do everything we can to keep Kareem Hunt. He's a guy like Kareem Hunt. He's in the prime of his career. He's not going to want to sit there and be the second running back in Cleveland. He just isn't. Right. So he's going to want to go somewhere and get paid. Now, can we get by with having another running back that we go out and draft and do stuff, get him cheaper? Maybe. But I would love to keep Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, have them both there for the entire NFL season with a legitimate, offensive-minded, NFL caliber head coach. And The rumors out there, Urban Meyer, Josh McDaniels is, as something that has been said over and over. Rumors about that for a long time. So yeah, I'm with you though.
Baker didn't play very well. I mean, he again calling plays that they take 10 or 15 yards to develop before you can even throw the ball.
Yep.
By that point, the offensive line broke down. Sometimes he scrambled, sometimes he didn't. He ate the ball a couple of times he shouldn't have, and took the yardage loss. You got to dump it. He dumped a few at the end. Of course, they're playing prevent defense.
Yeah, who cares?
But he has got to learn to, when it's not there after whatever seconds,
Yep.
You've got to dump the ball or get rid of it. The only time he got rid of it was when he broke out of the scramble and realized he was going to get tackled, and then he heaved it to the sidelines, past the line of scrimmage, out of bounds.
Yep.
And he must have done that at least 4 times today. I hope Nick Chubb gets the running title. That would be at least one feather in somebody's cap for this year. But the way he did it was, 45 yards last week, and I think he got 45 yards this week. I mean, he barely hung on if he does win it.
Well, I mean, but I think Nick Chubb was the shining star kind of this season with what he did against the Ravens, the first game. Nick Chubb is what I really hope that the rest of this team can look at him and let him be the leader, or at least the silent leader moving forward. But yeah, I guess this is, for me, a very disappointing. I've been texting with some other friends, Browns fans, season ticket holders, and very, very disappointing for the amount. Because if you think about how much time and investment we make into the Browns, the reading the articles, to talking to people on Twitter, to making videos, to doing live streams, this is just the stuff that we do for investing our time. But think about all the people that bought all the apparel and flew out to the games, getting hotels, paying for gas, paying for parking, paying for season tickets, paying for concessions, all of that for this lack of success was very disheartening. And I think that at the end of the day, besides going 1-5, Freddie had lost the fan base.
That too.
Mid-season. And if he lost the fan base, he lost the locker room. Right? So this is what I think if he would have kept the locker room, if the players would have came out, because the players have been asked recently, what do you think? Is there going to be a player coaching change? Is there going to be something going on with that? And the players are like, look, it's not up to me. There isn't anybody out there going, you know what, I'm that's my guy and I'm with him 100%. Nobody's saying that. Everybody's like, well, it's not up to me. If they make a change, they make a change, which leads me to believe the players are not happy with. Rashard Higgins didn't play today, and Njoku didn't even get a single target pass.
Right.
It's just like
it took them almost a whole quarter to even throw one to Landry or Odell Beckham. They were throwing. I don't know where they were throwing, but they weren't throwing to those guys. Then
Ratley had a great catch. I mean, that opening drive, Ratley had an amazing catch for the touchdown. But I think at the end of the day, the thing that hurt us was our defense. We got dominated today by a 1-14 team with a quarterback who's playing his last game for the team. He's this is a guy that everybody believes they're moving on from, right? Our defense, Steve Wilkes refused to put any pressure on Andy Dalton at all. And when he did, Andy Dalton somehow escaped and ran for 9 yards or ran for a touchdown.
Right.
Whereas Baker Mayfield, every single play, I don't think there was one play where he dropped back, had enough time to read the defense, and threw a pass comfortable, where he was just comfortable. Our offensive line is so bad. Greg Robinson is they said he was the second overall pick in the draft, and I couldn't believe that. I was like, no way, Greg he's so bad. He should have been undrafted. There's no way Greg Robinson is the second overall pick. Sure enough, second overall pick in 2014 by St. Louis. And then I think he went there and then maybe Detroit or something, and then came to the Browns as just a
backup.
Yeah, came as the Browns the backup, and then they got put in. Greg Robinson is absolutely terrible, and he should be launched to the moon and left there forever. Chris Webber needs to go and be delivering people or giving people tacos out of a drive-through at Taco Bell. That's what Chris Webber should be doing. He's terrible too. That's the thing. If you're a quarterback, if you've played quarterback at any level, I don't care what level it is, if you don't have an offensive line that can protect for you, give you a second to look and deliver the ball, because God knows, if you look at the passes that Baker, when he did have time to deliver them, he was on today. It was a couple bad passes that he tried to force. That was the problem. So.
Yeah, I agree, Mike.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think tomorrow we're on the Freddie watch.
I wonder how long it's going to be till we get the decision. Will it be tomorrow? Will it be sometime today?
I don't think it'll be today. I think they'll let him get back.
Drive back to the team?
Yeah, they flew in.
They probably fly back.
The weather is so bad, they may have to stay or take a bus back or whatever. But I think they'll let him sleep on it. I'll be looking at the wire tomorrow morning to see if anything hits relative to the Browns and a coaching decision. I don't think they can do anything with Josh Daniels until the season is over, right?
I don't know what they can do with Josh McDaniels. I don't know if they can offer him a job while he's still coaching another team. That's a good question. I don't know if teams have. I think they have done that before. I think that's possible.
Yeah, especially if you don't have anything to do with how the Patriots are going to do. There's no game in their future. There's no collusion.
Right.
You want to lock him up, but you should be able to do that behind the scenes with the agents that these guys represent. You make the phone call. You say, "Hey, we're interested."
That's if McDaniels is the guy. I mean, the Haslams are besides Daniel Snyder of the Redskins, I think the Haslams are the most inept owners in football. We have the worst ownership in football, and I think that there's a very good chance that it could be I don't know, you're saying 60-40, it could be 40-60, I think, that we keep Freddie. But after losing today,
yeah, I think it's 75-25 now. I changed my opinion. I think he should be gone with this performance and this lack of ownership of the team. It's just not something you want to look forward to as far as the draft, the offseason, the training camp. And what's he do? Does he keep their whole staff, all the guys that we're disappointed in, from defense to no offensive coordinator? Defense, you lose your star player. That's
still one player, though. I mean, he lost Myles Garrett. We didn't have Olivier Vernon for most of the season as well. Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward were hurt for most of the season. I got another thing to say. Greedy Williams has been mediocre at best and significantly underperformed the majority of the season. His inability to make tackles, his inability to defend the ball without every game, there's at least one Greedy Williams pass interference, on a third down. He's got to learn, and it's not like he's up against the greatest wide receivers in the world here. They're not putting Greedy Williams on the best wide receivers in the team. It's Greedy Williams against John Ross, okay? And the fact that he's got to hold him, the fact that he's not making tackle, that big run that Mixon had, the first big run up the left side, that was because Greedy Williams whiffed.
Yeah.
That, dude, we didn't have a first round pick this year. You're our first pick. And for him to be injured half the season and then come back and play mediocre at best, that's not good enough. You have to make plays in the NFL. You got to defend the pass. You got to get interceptions. He didn't have an interception all year.
Right.
Demarius Randall, Didn't have an interception all year. The ball hit his hands.
Yeah, we didn't catch any breaks. When it went through a wide receiver's hand, it just fell to the ground, didn't fall to our guy.
Fumble. You couldn't pick up the fumble when they the
Yeah, another
handoff.
one. Yeah.
But you know what? You shouldn't have to rely on big breaks like that to beat a 1-14 team. If you look at what was the score? Who won the game between Green Bay and Detroit?
It was tied up 2020.
Detroit versus Green Bay. Let's see what the score is of that. Green Bay wins 23-20. Green Bay was losing the game 17-3, and then Detroit came back, or Green Bay came back and won 20-23.
The Dolphins beat the Patriots.
Did they really?
27-24.
My God. I mean,
The Saints keep rolling 42-10.
the Saints, yeah, with all those Ohio State players. I mean, people are sitting out there being like, who are complaining about, Urban Meyer. Like, Urban Meyer can't come coach the Browns because the Ohio State guys. I'm not an Ohio State guy. I didn't go to Ohio State, but the New Orleans Saints have a whole lot of them, and they're doing pretty darn good. So us avoiding Ohio State guys isn't the answer either for anybody out there who's interested in that. Yeah, guys. I mean, it's been disappointing this year. It has been very, very disappointing. I was hoping that we would have playoff, but I got to tell you though, for a couple things, I think Odell is going to go off and he's gonna be better next year and he's going to be healthy. I think that with new leadership of the team, new coaches on the team, I think Baker's going to be rejuvenated. He's not going to go out there and do a million commercials. He's not the belle of the ball anymore. That's going to go to guys like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Baker Mayfield's going to go back to be a quarterback, go back and win games. Focus on winning games, not doing television commercials. He's not going to get married again in the offseason. Not going to have the distractions. All right? So if we can avoid that, shore up the offensive line, not have our star defensive lineman lose his mind and swing a helmet at somebody, I think that next year can be salvaged. We beat the Ravens. We beat the Steelers. We beat the Bills. Right? We beat good teams. We lost to everyone else, but I think we have enough there. We're still a very, very young team with a lot of cap space. We can go out and buy some players and put them into the positions that we need. We just got to keep them healthy and be coached by a competent NFL coaching staff. We do that. I mean, we're a playoff team. I believe this core of players has playoff caliber potential. They just have to be led correctly. And I sincerely hope next year Baker gets away from that arm wristband thing where he's looking at plays every time. We simplify the play calling. We focus on what works. We run the ball. We dump the ball off. And we do that, and that becomes our game plan. But if we have an offensive lineman that can block, for Christ's sake, if we can figure out how to do that, I think we're going to win a lot more games. So, yeah, guys, just want to thank everybody in the chat. We've got some of our regulars, Max Nikolenko. Got some other guys, Junior Tart, Kid Wilson 33, Typical Gamer 2002, Benjamin Carter, Big D 63, Alex Mayani, big name there, Isaiah Garris, Dan M. We got a ton of guys here in chat that are firing it up. Gary Washington's here. What's going on, Gary? Good to see you back. Yeah, guys, I mean, I think there's a lot to build on. I think if we focus less on the highlights and focus more on overall team mechanics, I think we're going to be in a better situation. I think now that we've had this humbling season, I think that's truly what it was. It was a humbling season. We thought they thought we were just going to show up and be handed victories. And that's not what happens in professional sports.
We thought it would be as easy as some of the drives that we had in spring training where we just went down the field. I don't remember, even in this game, did we have a 2-minute drill? Did we ever try to change the momentum to go to a 2 minute drill so
Not
that
to
we
the
put
end.
the
Not to
pressure
the
on
end
the
of the game.
defense and we're losing the whole game? What do you got to lose?
No misdirection. No, not a lot of play action. We telegraph what we're doing. I sat there. I was watching the game with my wife. I sat there, and I was like, "Oh, running play, running play. There's gonna be play action, running play, pass, pass." I knew every play.
Right.
If you gave me, there used to be I don't know if I still have it, but at bars they used to have this game which was on a trivia box, and you could play with everybody around the country, and you could play with your people at the local bar, and you could just all you had to do was say pick what it was going to be, pass or run, and then left, center, right, forward or back, and you get points based on what you predicted would happen. I would love to be able to do that again because I can predict Freddie Kitchens' offense almost to the T,
Yeah.
right? So a predictable offense, and even Cincinnati. You watch Cincinnati was doing a lot of the, was handing the ball off to wide receivers, doing end arounds. They try to flea
Well,
flicker. I mean,
two, two things. You watch Baker when he gets to the line of scrimmage under center, and he's got one back behind him. He goes through the same, almost the identical same routine. He gets there, he gets under center, he looks around, he points, then he comes up, he points a couple of times. He maybe tries to change the play or do something, and then he turns around, he hands it off, it goes up the middle, and it gets stuffed for a loss or for no gain whatsoever. Sometimes it's better just to get up to the line of scrimmage,
yeah,
don't worry
rhythm.
about, and just run the play. But yet he waits and he waits and he waits. We didn't have that many penalties, although we did have some penalties of people not
Oh, we had holding
going on
first
the right
half
snap
holding
count.
penalties,
But the other thing,
returning the kick penalty. I mean, it's just
yeah,
like
that was another one. The one thing I do want to mention though and talk about just a little bit is I sent you the snapshot for the roster of who's on the roster as of now,
okay,
and my prediction is there is going to be massive turnover in terms of the roster. We'll
okay.
keep all those really core, solid players. Schobert's going to be a good indication. Do we sign him or do we let him go to somebody like New England?
I think
And
he's let go. I don't. Well, I think we would have signed him, just like Treader. I mean, we didn't want Treader to get to the end of his contract.
right.
If somebody has value, and unfortunately, non-game changing linebackers just don't have a lot of value. They
Well, for
just don't.
some people like Belichick will take him and get maximum mileage out of him.
Sure.
And so now, does he want to pay him the same kind of money that he's looking for on free agency or whatever? He's potential Pro Bowl eligible. He's in on a lot of plays, but he gets beat a lot. On the right team, he gets to elevate his game. Trying to keep the Browns in it with not a lot of pass rush, with Myles being out. You got to defend longer. You got to defend more people, and you're going to get beat more often. So anytime you can put some pass rush on the guy, it makes the linebackers and the defensive, secondary look a lot better
Yep.
because they're pressuring that quarterback. And we just didn't. Ever since Myles went out, we nothing, absolutely nothing. And that's not. Kitchens didn't make him swing the helmet. I mean, you
You're right.
can't fault him with that. But
He didn't make him swing the helmet, but I think it's a metaphor for how the entire season has gone. You have a very young and undisciplined team with a "I'll be your buddy" type coach. And unfortunately, I don't see that working out for guys like this. You have to be able to instill a certain level of fear and respect in young people. They're not just going to follow anybody. And I just look at it, is Myles Garrett swinging the helmet for Belichick, Sean Payton, Hart, John Harbaugh? Is he swinging the helmet for those guys? And probably not, because he doesn't want to let them down and all that stuff. And I don't think Freddie earned the respect of the players this year. And also, this is just not a team that you can learn on the job anymore.
yeah,
We have too much talent and too much hunger to be good and to make the playoffs that we do not have the patience. And Freddie could be the greatest thing since Belichick, right? He could turn it all around next year and be fantastic. But from what I saw this season, it wasn't good enough. And it wasn't good enough to say, I believe in the guy to move forward. Now, there's a lot of people out there that are talking about, Baker's not the guy and it's Baker's fault and Baker this, Baker that. Guys, you got it. They read off a stat. I'm gonna give you plead my case for why Baker Mayfield is still extremely valuable and very much the answer for us. Number one, he had the most drop passes in the last 2 seasons. Who's the number one guy with 40-plus drop passes? Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm. The offensive line, that is an absolute joke. One of the worst offensive lines in modern Browns history. Baker Mayfield. And if people are gonna give me, well, he wasn't touched or he wasn't hit, blah blah blah. Don't give me this BS stats. You watch the game, it does not pass the eyeball test. He has pressure in his face every game. That is the recipe to beat the Browns, is just rush our offensive line. There was one play the one where the drive where Baker threw the touchdown to Odell in the back of the end zone. Right. One of the plays before that, it was right after Baker ran for the first down and gets all pumped up. Very next play, coming in from the right side against Chris Webber, he didn't even touch him. Chris Webber goes this way to block the nose tackle, and the guy runs right past him, untouched, right into Baker. It was a gift. That is how bad our offensive line is. And if you're a quarterback, especially a young quarterback, right, where everybody's asking you to be Superman, and you've got diva wide receivers that are asking for the ball and complaining when they don't get it, right? So there's a lot of pressure that he's putting on himself to be able to do that. And then on top of it, having a terrible offensive line that doesn't give him enough time. And then on the flip side of it, you go to our defense, who again makes a terrible quarterback or mediocre at best quarterback look like a playoff quarterback, running for touchdowns, not sacking him.
He's Jim Brown. I mean, how many yards did he have today, Mixon?
Oh, he went over 100, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Mixon's a good running back. Joe Mixon is a very good running back.
But we make him look even better.
We made the whole team look great. They scored 30-plus points against us.
Right.
Or I don't know how many points we had. Was it only? Let me before I say that, Cleveland versus Cincinnati. Final score 33-23. Joe Mixon ran for 162 yards and 2 touchdowns. Andy Dalton went 16 for 28, 190, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 1 running on the ground. Guys, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Steve Wilkes, I'm sorry. I know that you didn't have every recipe that you thought you were going to have in there with Myles Garrett, with Olivier Vernon, with all your guys being healthy. But Steve Wilkes, dude, the fact that you don't have blitz packages ever is shocking. And when we do, good things happen. It makes the quarterbacks flustered. It makes them have to throw and do things. We just didn't consistently do that. Right. So it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. And I'm glad the season's over. I'm sick of it.
Too.
This is a very heart-wrenching and disappointing season that is finally coming to an end. And it is finally over. Hey, guys, look, we're going to do – this is going to be the last homage T-shirt giveaway of the year. So I'm going to put in a number from 1 to 100 now for the T-shirt giveaway. All right. Okay, I got my number in there, ready to go. So we'll wait for everybody's numbers to be put in for the homage T-shirt giveaway. Ooh, yeah. I don't know. Do you have a preference on what coach that we go with next year?
No, I don't know enough about the coaches, all the ins and outs. Urban Meyer, I think, would be great. Yeah. Josh McDaniel would be great. Ron Rivera, I'm not crazy about him, but maybe he's pretty good. I would have liked the guy from Green Bay. What's his name?
Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy, yeah, I would have liked him. I think he would come with discipline, focus, control. He would be able to put a staff together that would rival anything in the NFL. These other guys, if they come, they have to build staffs, and they have to start from scratch. He comes in, and within a month, he's in control, and he knows exactly what he wants to do. He's run the program. He's been successful.
Yep.
I hope he gets a shot at it. I hope he decides, hey, I'd like to turn the Browns around. I'd like to be the guy who takes advantage of all this talent, and go from there. But I think if I have to look to the off season through the draft and then into the preseason, looking at Freddie Kitchens and knowing he's not going to change, and does he retain staff or does he turn over the staff? As well as I do, when the head coach turns over his own loyal staff, things never work out.
Right.
They just don't. You either keep the same team or you don't. And for me to look forward to next season, after this season, even if we get talent, I think it would be wasted. So I'm sort of looking forward to tomorrow and the next couple of days to see if we do make a change and we get a first quality type of head coach.
Yeah, I agree. Looks like the numbers are still coming in. Last one we have from Isaiah is there. I think that's given everybody probably enough time. Let's go look through it. Anybody hit the number on the head? Nobody, but my number was 44. So the winner is Ryan Brown. So Ryan
Brown, 45.
Winner is Ryan Brown.
Good pick.
Ryan, send me an email with your address, shirt size, and link to. There we go. Bing. Yeah. So, guys, I do want to say a big thanks to Homage for all the gear that they provided throughout the year. Got a bunch of stuff. We've been giving away T-shirts every post game from Homage, which I think is great. I still have a couple giveaways I got to get into the mail, which I promise everybody will get out. I have all the stuff still here, so I got a couple of our giveaways we're going to give out. They're going to make it out there. We're definitely going to do more stuff next year.
And we'll come on with our next show if a coaching decision is made.
Oh yeah, we'll do some off-season shows, absolutely.
Yeah, and we'll have a lot to talk about. Maybe even next week as the playoffs start, we could still do a pregame if a coaching change has been made. If there's no coaching change, I don't think there's much to talk about unless we get a trade.
I got to tell you, if there's no coaching change after going 1-5 against teams that we should beat.
Right.
The Cardinals, the Bengals, the Steelers with their third string quarterback. If we end up going, there's going to have to be some explanation, some really solid explanation of why, other than, hey, we just wanted to give them a chance to do it again. I'm sorry, you got your chance. You won 6 games.
Right.
You lost 10.
The experiment didn't work.
No, it's over. You got your chance, and unfortunately, it's time to move on. And that's what life of the NFL is.
Right.
I thought Freddie was going to be the guy. I wanted him to be the guy. I really like him. But after the Titans game, that was a shock. That was like jumping into ice-cold water when you're nice and warm.
Back to reality after that game, that's for sure.
I mean, if you really think about it, the first pass of this season that Baker dropped back and threw the ball to OBJ that was nearly intercepted, and if it would have been intercepted, that would have gone back for a touchdown. That very first pass was I remember just the breath almost came out of my lungs when that happened.
Yeah.
And then, the penalties came, and then the injuries came.
And I watch Bernie Kosar. He didn't have the best technique, throwing arm. He didn't have a lot of mobility. But when he went back to pass and he was given time and then he let the ball go, I felt almost 90 to 95% of the time he was so accurate
Mhm.
and he wouldn't release the ball. Didn't he have the longest streak without an
Yeah,
interception?
before Tom Brady broke it.
Yeah. He just, uh, he was a little bit taller than
Oh
Baker.
no, I think Bernie's like 6'5".
Yeah, he's a big
He is
guy,
a tall man.
but he was so smart and so into the game. I just felt so comfortable when he released the ball that there was a 90% chance it was going to be caught. It was going to hit the
Yeah.
guy, that type of thing. With Baker towards the end, it was like, I hope it's not intercepted. I hope it's not
Yeah,
intercepted.
when he had a couple that got away from him today. I mean, obviously he threw some interception. He had two other ones. One that got deflected up in the air and the
Mhm.
defensive lineman dropped. The other one hit the defensive lineman because Jarvis ended up juking and then going one way and Baker threw it the other way and it hit the defensive lineman right in the chest. I
Right.
mean, it could have been 5 interceptions today,
Yeah, right.
right?
Right.
So I look at it and I
I
think
didn't
that
have that same feeling last year. When he took over the Jets game and he went down the field and scored or got the field goal, he was very decisive. Back, 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 throw, boom. Back, 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 throw, boom. He just too long for these plays to develop and not enough of a
Well,
line to protect
whatever
them.
happened to the offense, I mean, they installed something that does not make him comfortable. And I think that is something that I don't know if Baker has to communicate that better or what, but that, whatever it was, it didn't make him comfortable. None of the trick plays worked this year, not a
Right.
single one.
We didn't do any today.
None today. It
We
was
did not
we
do
started off the
one.
game. We started off the game with what? Two pitches, two or three pitches in a row. Sweep pitches, toss
Right.
plays,
That
and
got
then
yardage.
the long pass for the
Right.
touchdown. Then they drive down and score on us like a
Butter.
warm knife through butter.
Right.
Then we come back and instead of going back to the run, we throw three straight passes.
Right. 3 and out.
Guys, it is surprising that, and that's the reason that if you really not just look at like, well, do we like him? Do we want him to do better? Whatever. You have to look at the body of work and make the determination from that. Does the guy have what it takes to be a coach in the NFL?
Mm.
And from what we saw on not just the field today, but against the Cardinals,
Denver.
against Denver, against San Francisco, where we were humiliated. There were games that were on national television that we were humiliated. We were outclassed. It
Right.
was like a
Outcoached.
college team versus a pro team. It was embarrassing. And I think that is the story of this season with the Browns. We had expectations that were not fulfilled. And I think that's what I'm taking into next season. As somebody who makes Browns hype videos, and this is my kind of brand online, it makes it very difficult. I'm going to have to take a step backwards for a second and be like, hey, look, do we want to continue the hype train or do we want to let this thing happen? And I just think this is one of those seasons that it's so disappointing that it's really tough to get hyped up. We need them to. They gotta almost earn that back from me next year. To get back on that hype train, we need some wins. We need some positivity.
And that needs to start with the coaching staff, I think. And
Yeah.
if it doesn't, we're going to be feeling not very good starting next year. We're just not going to have the same enthusiasm we had. You're not going to get that much out of preseason because you got all these prima donnas and people that don't want to play preseason. So you won't know really until the first game of the season.
Yeah.
And if we have the same coaching staff, it's really not something I'm looking forward to. If you've got a big coaching staff change, you've got a different philosophy, you got different strategy, you got a whole bunch of new players. I'll be as excited as I was at the beginning of this season.
Yeah.
And then let's see how things go. Maybe it makes a difference, maybe it doesn't, but it can't hurt to make these changes because the same old is going to happen. And God forbid we come back with another 7-9
Yeah.
season.
I think that it it would be at this point a miracle for Freddie. He would have had to have won the game today in shockingly good fashion,
Right.
and they didn't.
I think it makes Dorsey's job that much easier
Oh yeah,
because they didn't perform. He lost the team, like you said earlier. It's just a question of what, if anything, does Dorsey have up his sleeve in terms of making some contacts and getting the right person that will be able to weed through all the issues that Freddie couldn't weave through.
the question will be, does, if you really want to go out there and get an elite coach, elite coaches come with they come with their own baggage as well, just like elite players do.
Right.
They're going to want to have control. They're going to want to have some say in what happens.
Right.
And it's just going to take, you get a guy like Josh McDaniels who comes from New England thinking, that his shit doesn't stink, and he's going to be the one who wants to be able to do that. The guy who drafted Tim Tebow in the first round, right? So you're going to have somebody who can live with being able to be handed the groceries and say, here's your team, go. Now, if Dorsey's smart, Dorsey will bring in a guy, a Ron Rivera, a Mike McCarthy, somebody like that, who they will be partners in this. Where they could say, or a Ron Rivera or a Urban Meyer, somebody can come in and go, you know what? I've assessed the team, the needs of the team from the people that I coach, and the biggest weakness is X, Y, and Z. You need to address X, Y, and Z for me. And in my evaluation, and my scouts' evaluations, and blah, 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 these are the guys we want to go after to be able to do that. So my only knock against a guy like Josh McDaniels is, and I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's learned from Denver, he's learned from Indianapolis. Okay, so let's just assume that he's a more mature adult now, and he's ready to take over his next challenge of being a head coach of an NFL team, and we offer him the job. We have not had a very good record of hiring head coaches from underneath Bill Belichick in New England. Romeo Crennel, Mangini. I mean, we have not done well with that. So I would ask, if I was interviewing a guy like Josh McDaniels, I would say, look, the Indianapolis situation happened. What do you have that can give me confidence that you're not going to do that to us? Because what if we offer you the job and Bob Kraft comes back and says, well, I'll double your salary then, and for you to stay? What is it that what assurances are you giving me that you're going to accept this job even if I offer it to you? That's number one. Number two, what are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing in terms of scouts, offensive philosophy, evaluation of the talent that we currently have? What are you bringing to me beyond the fact that you've got a couple rings as an offensive coordinator, right? Mm-hmm. What are you bringing? So those are the type of questions I would honestly ask that about everybody. Who would you want to bring with you? And I think that's an important thing. I think if everybody just thinks about their own job, when you have a new vice president, executive vice president, C-level guy that comes in, if they come in and go, you know what, I'm not bringing in anybody that I had ever worked with in the past. I'm sticking with what I got right now. That's concerning to me. That means that they don't have people that would follow them into the desert.
I think McCarthy is a guy that would instantly take over,
Awesome.
and really do well. And he wouldn't. I don't think McCarthy calls plays. I think he has an offensive coordinator. He tremendously successful in Green Bay, even though you had
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but you got Baker Mayfield. You got a good set of core players to be enhanced with the offseason.
Yep.
So if I was betting, I would say McCarthy should be the guy, or Urban Meyer, I would accept either one of those two as my two top picks.
Yeah, if I had to make my pick, I would say, who would I be most happy with? Probably McCarthy, I would say, but I wouldn't be excited. I would just be like, all right, we got a guy who's got a proven track record, which is somebody that we have not had in Cleveland. If you go back to all the coaches we've had since '99, we haven't had one single guy who's been tremendously successful
Right.
in another place. So McCarthy would come with that, with a Super Bowl ring. My question would be, is he still hungry?
I think so. Anybody who comes back, I think, is hungry. I think, a guy like Gruden would have been great, although he's, the mental aspect he puts quarterbacks through. I don't know if he'd be able to, Baker be able to handle him, but I think Baker would thrive under a more disciplined approach, a simpler approach,
Right.
one that, just like Belichick, you take advantage of their weakness, you exploit their weakness, and then you enhance the things that you do well. You do those two things, offense and defense, so that you're going to be in every game. You're going to have a chance to win every game.
Yep.
And
As long as your kicker makes extra points.
right, yeah, that too. I mean, that was disappointing to turn an advantage where they missed an extra point, and we give it right back to him.
Yep.
And he misses the extra point.
It has been finding ways to lose.
Right.
You got to be able. I think that's the one thing. If Siebert missed a field goal here and there, okay, you miss field goals. There's no
Everybody does, right.
other than the Ravens. Everybody misses field goals from time to time, but to miss extra points consistently, that is unexcusable. You can't miss 4 extra points. I'm sorry, you can't do it. It creates problems, and you got to be able to make extra points. So that
The one he
kid better.
missed today was a good hold. Timing was good.
He just shanked it.
He just pulled it left.
Yeah,
Pulled it left.
I mean, it's like a free throw in the NBA. If you're a professional and that's your only job, you have to make your free throws. Now I get it; it's not the guaranteed point that it was. To be honest, I got to tell you, I'm really I'm old school with this. I think that touchdown should be 7 points. Not 7 on the ground or whenever you score. You should have to kick the extra point or go for 2. But I didn't have any problem with the old extra point. Just give him the damn extra point, or move it in.
Right. I think it was meant to so that you wouldn't have a lot of tie games and a lot of overtimes. It's a way of breaking it up a little bit so that. But you're right. In the past, it was routine. When they moved it back, it wasn't. I was in favor of if it's a 40-yard field goal, it's 3 points. If it's a 40-yard or a 50-yard field goal, make it 4 points.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do 4. I don't know if you can give them 3 or 4 points, but I think it would be interesting to say, hey, a 50-yard extra point is worth 2.
Yeah.
I think that's fine, and then maybe move up the extra point a little bit, so you've got.
Or make it more incentive to go for 2 points, running the ball, passing the ball. Make it even harder to get an extra point. So therefore, you want to run it from the 2-yard line and score.
Well, then, I mean, I don't know. I liked the old games where you can say, okay, it's going to be 21-10, right? These games that are like, you got missed extra points here and there. I understand that it makes it more difficult, but Gary Washington, 5 extra points. How do you miss 5 extra points? That is literally showing up to work and failing at the core aspect of your job 5 times in 16 games. I'm sorry, but it's demoralizing too. That's the thing about it. When you have a big play where Jarvis just catches a 50-yard touchdown pass and you're excited and everything's good, and then you go out there and you miss the extra point, it's like, come on, dude. Like, why can't we just do things to win games? So guys, that's it.
That's it.
That's how I
Mike.
feel. That's how I feel. It's a wrap.
Let-
That's the season.
Let's
it.
look forward to the coaching change, and let's have a lot of good things to say about whoever they pick, and get excited from day one till opening kickoff next season.
Yep, guys, I agree with that. Everybody, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
For everybody who is currently who's viewing the stream, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Going to be launching a Patreon, which is some exciting news. The Patreon, which we're going to start doing like some little things to have your name on the. We're going to do a ticker at the bottom of the screen. So as we're doing these live streams, we're going to have tickers. I'm going to give credits, fan support credits to after every hype video that I make. So a big screen at the end that has credits, so your name can be there as well. So I'm going to do some really cool stuff to help support the channel, and all I'm going to do with that money is be able to put that back into the show, whether it's being able to buy equipment that helps make cool videos or be able to do more giveaways for you guys. I'm going to try and go out and find some more partnerships next year, so it's not just homage giving giveaways, but other brands and other different things that we can give away on stream as well. Right. So I want to say thank you to everybody from the bottom of my heart. This has been a great, it's been a really cool thing. It's been like an exciting thing to be able to do this post-game show, with my dad every week for the Browns game, other than last week because it was just
too depressing.
It was depressing to do last week, but it's been fun to do all season from the draft all the way up till today.
Right.
It's been great, and really looking forward to a good offseason, positive energy moving forward, good changes. Yeah. We'll do the draft. We'll do some other live stream shows as well, and we'll put it up on the channel. I hope you guys like it. So subscribe, hit the notification button. Once I get the Patreon going live, please, if you have a couple bucks you want to throw at it to support the channel, that'd be awesome as well.
Okay.
And that's it.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Go Browns in 2020.
Go Browns.